this server. Copy, send, Twitter. Oh, this is wonderful. Shut up, Twitch. And tweet. Great. Okay, wonderful. Alright, boys and girls. This is very important. He lied.
A magical day.
It's magical. Oh yeah, this game is... Okay, so... We're going to need a little prehistory on why I'm doing this now. Caught my eye a couple weeks ago. We were getting close to 1,000 videos on YouTube. A number I never thought we'd ever hit. Because, I mean, I was 13 when we started this. So, you know, didn't think it would ever come that far. And here we are now, and I thought, well, I gotta do something. So I looked at all the stuff we've done. I said, do I want to redo anything? And I thought, well, I could redo Spyro. But then it dawned on me, wait, the remake's coming out at the end of September. But the remake got delayed, so I thought, fuck it. Let's just redo Spyro. The first game I ever played. Ooh, that cherry juice is bitter after it's been warmed up. Ugh. So, small warning, there may be some performance issues on the game's end, namely regarding sound. There may be some points where the music doesn't play properly. We'll just say this game's as old as I am, so sorry.
Alright.
Find dragons first. Yes, I will find dragons, but more importantly, I will find treasure. I love this game. I still think it looks good, despite the fact it's older than I am. Nearly.
Spyro, you have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what...
I like how the entire world freezes while these conversations go on. Right, so what do we got to collect here? 100 gems and 4 dragons. Well, that's not hard. So getting 100% is completely optional. You don't need to. You just need to get enough gems, dragon eggs, or dragons to progress to the next world and then beat the final boss. You don't even have to fight this game's bosses. You can, should you wish, ignore them entirely.
What's the point of that?
Well, the bosses in this game aren't good, I'll just say that now. We discussed this yesterday, but platformer bosses are not
Yes.
not that good.
Very not.
And in this game, they absolutely fall into that trap. But I mean, you know, the rest of the game's fine. So in order to progress to the next world, all I need is 10 dragons. So I could go to a whopping 3 of the worlds that are in this world. There's a better way of wording that. And ignore the boss, not even get most of the stuff in the game, and just go to the next set of levels. Or I could get 100% and then make my life easier later, because I think the requirements for getting to the final world is 6,000 gems.
Good boy.
Which is half of the total gems in the game.
Jeez.
So you do want to start, you know, getting every win you can. And with luck,
Hey, Spyro.
it should make your life easier.
Don't bother
You can imagine little 2-year-old me seeing this for the first time and having his mind blown. Because that's what it was, you know. I was 2.
I question how a 2-year-old would play a game.
Well, I picked the controller up and I learned. I wasn't very good at it. You know, no one's going to be particularly good at their first game. On their first go, anyway. Unless your first game was like Battletoads, at which point you're never going to be good at your first game. But, you know, it was a case of I picked the game up, I just screwed around, really, you know, 2-year-old. No real concept of making progress.
Or of what games were.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a glorified way of me dicking around as a 2-year-old. But, you know, starting the game up, seeing this big open expanse that, you know, by today's standards is not that impressive. But still, you know, I'd never seen something like this before, and I was just like, oh my god, it's amazing.
The artisan's boss is through a portal in the dragon mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro.
So this is also weird. Only the first and last worlds have requirements for fighting the boss. So technically, you only ever have to fight the final boss. But if you wanted to, you could also do the boss of a world first. The exception being this stage and the final world. Because you need to get 100% in any stage that isn't the hub world to unlock the boss for this kingdom. And if you get to the final world, you need to beat every stage in a certain order. So, where do I want to start? Stone Hill is technically the first level. So, we'll do Stone Hill. It's not Green Hill, it's Stone Hill.
Stone Hill.
Totally different.
Slightly different.
No, that's Emerald Hill. So one thing I will say about Spyro is that in terms of enemies, it is mostly easy. There are a couple of enemies in this game that can piss right off. But, you know, early going, it's fairly simple. You've got some wide open areas. You know, there's very little risk of bottomless pits, if any. Enemies are basic. You know, these rams, they just try and ram you. Surprise.
Wow.
You know, it's fairly simple stuff, early game. Second world and onwards is much more intensive. And there's the exit to the level, by the way.
That's quick.
After you freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex digger. It'll take you back to the artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks.
No, I'm good.
No.
So yeah, this game is weirdly open-ended about how you do things. You know, all you need to do is meet the requirements to progress to the next world. You don't have to fight the bosses. You don't have to particularly do much in a level. It's kind of weird. So it's almost like in how, like Super Mario 64, you can technically just skip the entire third floor because we have enough stars to fight Bowser. Anyway, with that key we found hidden on that beach, we can come down here. Rescue Gavin.
Watch the
Gavin.
dragonflies.
Gavin.
Color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong.
So the dragonfly somehow keeps Spyro alive by eating butterflies. To
What?
my knowledge, I mean, it's just a way of explaining the health system, but I don't get it.
That's quite cruel.
Whoop. Right, so we're making good progress. Also, the little bouncy enemies you see, various levels, those are your fodder for keeping yourself alive if you take damage. Sparks can take 3 hits. And you want Sparks to stay alive because he is like your treasure magnet. Without Sparks, Spyro will die in 1 hit, and you also have to manually pick every gem up, which is slow.
Have fun.
When on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress.
Yes, dragons are also your save points.
Run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
See, look at that. We've got 7 dragons already. And that's an autosave when the platform
That was
loads.
quick.
Oh yeah, we could go to the next set of levels relatively quickly. Oh, and there's a familiar noise. We'll become acquainted with that sound effect soon. The shepherds, they just swing at you if you get close enough.
Ooh.
Like that. They don't pose much threat.
How terrifying.
I know, the shepherds. Worst they'll do is they'll run you over with the tractor. I believe we're done down here, so let's take the whirlwind up. Wooden chests can be burned. Steel ones have to be charged. Gildas. Gildas.
Friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of the jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
So you can press triangle to drop down out of a glide. I can't possibly think of a situation where that's useful. But you can do it. Oh yeah, Spyro can also do this. Don't know why.
Curl up into a terrifying
it's-
monstrosity and roll around.
It's
Hooray.
kind of like a strafe, but it's really weird. You honestly, because you have full analog control, you don't need. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, that little teasing noise is this little asshole that everyone who's ever played a Spyro game knows and hates. Thieves run on a set path, chase them down, and if you get close enough, you don't have to ram them, you can just flame them because projectile attack, and get a dragon egg. There are 12 in the game. I think there is only one world that requires you to find them. And I think that's the 3rd world, and I think you only need like 5. So, you know, if you put this down as percentages, you do need to complete a good like half of the game to finish it. It's just you have a lot of freedom in what half. It's like Breath of the Wild before Breath of the Wild. By almost 20 years. Oh god, this game's 20 years old. Almost to the day. Oh. I've been playing games for 20 years.
Spooky.
Oh, is that a grey hair? No, but... Ooh. I had a similar reaction when Ratchet and Clank turned 10. I was like, what? When did this happen? Let's go to Town Square next, why not? I remember Crash Bandicoot 3 had a demo for this game that you got by inputting the Konami code of all things. And it gave you, like, the full first set of levels to play through. It was a really substantial demo. Chickens! Ah. Nils? Some of these names are just made up.
Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the L2 and R2
Yes.
buttons to get
You can explore our town by going over there, towards death.
Wait, go closer. And
And if you guys are paying attention, you can already hear the disc is having trouble reading the music files. So, fun for me. As I said, this game is actually almost exactly 20 years old. This specific copy, anyway. It has been played and played and played. And that's our 10th dragon, so we could, technically, right now, just bugger off to the next world.
I have the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Oh, did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing X at the very top of your jump?
We can now leave this kingdom and just go somewhere else. Also, nice detail, if you charge these bulls, they get stuck. That technically counts as beating them too. So, yeah, if you wanted to spend the rest of their existence slowly starving to death. Take that, Nork. And another dragon.
Alvar.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and give that egg. Run! I'm getting a little winded.
Thank you, Mr. Big Dragon. I like how Spyro is the one who has to fix all this shit. Like, oh yeah, leave it to the baby dragon.
See, like, I'm way too young to like have ever played any of this stuff, so I just have no idea what the hell is going on throughout. Most of
Well,
this.
the game has an think of a like late 90s platformer. The plot is just an excuse. The dragons were holding an interview on TV because dragons have TV, and basically just insulted this guy they banished to a faraway kingdom.
To a shadow realm.
Kinda, yeah. And Nasty Nork, they call him. They insulted him and everything. And so we trapped all the dragons inside these crystal statues and turned their gems into minions. So you've got to go out, and we're going to hear that a lot, by the way. We're going to go free all the dragons, claim back the treasure, and do all that good stuff. As I said, the game's plot is quite literally an excuse. It's like, bad guy does bad things, go save.
Go run around a bit.
Yeah, kind of. Alright, I need to get this thief to reset his pattern. Depending entirely on where he's gone. Yeah, I just realised you are too young to remember the original Spyro trilogy. Oh, that makes me feel old. Well, good news, Kiwi. There's getting remakes in November.
Alright.
It was meant to be September, but
Yeah.
I think they realised they can't get away with releasing it in September.
And I think they're gonna be like 90% digital download, even for retail.
Yeah, it
copy.
was. They said Spyro 2 and 3 require a download. I'm like, how big are these fucking games? I know these games are big.
Fun.
Like, fun fact, right? The Spyro remakes apparently started development at the exact same time the Crash ones did. And it's just that the Crash
Holy
ones came
hell.
out
Yeah.
a year earlier. A year and a half earlier, even. And that's because the Crash games reuse a lot of assets, Meanwhile, Spyro, every single individual level has its own aesthetic, its own enemies. There's a lot going on in this game that makes it a lot bigger, and then multiply that over 3 games to get progressively even bigger. It's like, I could see, honestly, I would perfectly understand if the game didn't fit on a Blu-ray. Alright, Dark Hollow. This level is really short and really small, but we're getting introduced to armoured enemies, so that's nice. Guys with armour, you've got to charge them. That's basically it, because fireproof. Now, why is metal fireproof?
Reasons.
I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, big enemies. You can't charge them, so you've got to use your fire. Now,
How does just being big make them chargeable?
well, see, that makes more sense than not being able to,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's you.
not burn metal.
Gave those annoying
You know, you can't ram into the big guy because the big guy's too big. You can't knock him over. The armor, though, you just... That'd heat up and it would catch their hands, you know?
Yeah. What would happen if big guy had metal shield?
Well, you know, it's funny you should ask that question. Excellent timing, Kiwi.
Oh.
You just got to hit him in the back.
Okay.
There are going to be situations later in the game where the big guys have metal and you can't do anything about it, so you've got to get a little creative. But for right now, that's all you got to do. Pretty simple stuff.
Spyro, want to know a secret? Use the triangle button.
This is my sex dungeon.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
Anyway, there's a key down here. We probably should pick that up because that opens chests. Also, don't miss
Back
these
to the
gems
start.
down here. It's a long time I spent as a child looking for those last 2 gems that I missed. And let's go. Hello, frogs. As you can see, ways to restore your health are plentiful. Enemies don't exactly put up much of a fight. You know, the game is a nice, simple experience. Oh, they
A
moved.
bit too simple.
Spyro 2 and 3 add extra layers of complexity. PS1 lighting.
Huzzah! Oh, great.
Oh, it makes me feel old that you've said that you're too young to know Spyro. One day someone's going to say something like that and it's going to happen to you.
Yeah, but then what would I have to say?
I don't know, what games did you play back in your childhood? That aren't particularly around now, let's say.
But one really obscure Disney skate game. That was like pretty much the only thing that I can remember, apart from Smash Bros. Brawl. But that's
Well, no kids are going to remember Brawl.
it's quite a shame because it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't. It just
Wasn't as
fast. That's what the competitive team
Was-
gets stuck up on.
didn't advance the series as much as Melee did.
Well, no, that's because
But probably did.
Melee added an extra special move and some extra mechanics.
Because let's be honest, there's barely anything in N64 version.
No,
It's like-
there's 12 characters. There's like, what, 10 stages?
Yeah.
Generously. There's the classic mode. And Mario's back throw is the most broken thing imaginable. Anyway, stand on all these stones. Ooh. Flight level. Brawl did advance the series in one specific way. It gave us this thing called third-party characters.
Oh yeah.
And you know, without that, we wouldn't have Snake and Sonic and Simon and Richter and Cloud for some reason.
Well, I mean that's the thing, because like Brawler was pretty much as series advancing as Melee.
Yeah.
Because Final Smashes,
Various new modes.
Subspace, Emissary, Info. That didn't come back for a Wii U version.
No, to be honest, I don't miss it. I don't miss the story mode.
It's probably coming back anyways for a
Yeah, there's that menu option we haven't seen.
alternate. Yeah. Apparently, it's supposed to be called Souls.
Something like that. I mean, right, we know there's going to be some kind of adventure mode. We've already seen it in the footage.
Yeah.
Because the stage that they showed from Monster Hunter fighting Rathalos, there was only one fighter there, and that stage was very long and very flat. And then some of the footage they showed for Dracula was the same thing. There's only one fighter, and that stage is very long and very flat. And it's also bigger than the actual Dracula's Castle stage you can play in multiplayer. Which tells me, okay, there's some
Adventure
kind of mode where there will be boss fights.
It's just gonna be boss rush.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a mode where you have to fight various villains from various franchises.
Well, yeah, but like, that should at least be like a side part to a main adventure
Yeah.
mode.
That's true. I mean, my thought was maybe they could fit them into classic mode somehow, but then certain characters wouldn't have boss fights. And who the hell would fight Rathalos? Unless there is a Monster Hunter character, which one, okay. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, with that Speedway level, where all you have to do is get all 4 sets of 8 items in the time limit, we can now go to the boss fight. Toasty.
Toasty.
Oh yeah, Toasty. Just a wonderful...
Very, very odd
Whoa,
name.
my internet connection's speed is jumping all over the place. It's like it just went up to 11,000 kilobits per second. To be fair, for these Spyro streams, what I'm thinking of doing is just doing 1 world per stream. Because if I don't do that, the final stream's going to be really short. Or maybe I'll do 2 in this first world. Depends how. No, the second world's actually quite long. I don't know, I'll see how I feel at the end of this stage. But yeah, we're going to see the excellent boss design of Spyro 1 in this game. Which, even I admit, not the best.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say it's kind of bad.
I'd imagine like third-person platformers. From
Okay,
like,
what's weird is
straight
Spyro
line
2 and 3 do boss fights just fine. Where it's like an actual battle against another opponent. This game does what I can only describe as taking the idea of a level and having you fight one consistent enemy.
I think I smell a barbecue.
Doesn't sound bad.
Careful, Spyro.
No.
This boss has many tricks up his sleeve.
16 Dargans. Ah, so there's Toasty. Hit him once, he'll drop a gem.
Hit him twice.
Hit him twice. It's a sheep on stilts.
What? Wow, what
Oh yeah, you remember the boss fights for different reasons. And there we go.
What a difficult boss fight.
Well, first boss.
Ooh, boy.
It's literally a sheep. Just on stilts. And that's the first world completely done.
In half an hour.
Half an hour, yeah. Later worlds do get quite longer because, you know, this is kind of like an introductory, this is how the levels are set up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Later stages, oh boy. When we get to like magic crafters and beast makers and especially dreamweavers, we're going to be there a while. Right, let's go talk to the balloonist because, you know, we could have done this ages ago because we had 10 dragons. I have been busy rescuing dragons. You may travel to the Peacekeepers world if you like. So we're leaving the Artisans world and we're going to Peacekeepers.
Peacekeeper.
Which is ironically enough at war. Because, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is our desert world.
Question why Flying Dragon would need a hot air balloon.
Spyro can't actually fly.
Welcome to Peacekeeper.
But what about when he's transitioning into levels?
Turned against us. It's stolen.
He seems to fly just fine.
Magical portals. Let's not.
Got it.
Huh.
I mean, I understand why they didn't give him the power to fly. Otherwise,
Oh,
because
yeah,
you then
but-
run into the Kirby problem. And, you know, Kirby's not known for exactly being a hard platformer. Alright, so these dudes. These cannons. You can actually fire these cannons.
Hooray.
As you can imagine, this world being a desert world, also being World 2, it's a bit standard, but oh, look at him, he's terrified. Okay, so one thing I love about this game is even for you've got spears. Just whatever. This game oozes personality.
Okay.
Demonetized. Right. Ah, these chests. These only ever appeared in Spyro 1. Flame them, and then jump up and grab the gem. Actually, there's quite a couple of variants of chests that only ever appeared in Spyro 1. Yeah, let's talk to the balloonist, see what the requirement is for this, leaving this world. I think this one's treasure.
Hi, Spyro. Sparks the dragonfly.
God damn, you're huge.
Did a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
Why does the dragonfly eat butterflies? Am I missing something about the insect world? Like, are dragonflies the natural predators of butterflies?
Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe if you had 1,200 stolen treasures. So I need 1,200 total gems. And I have 1,000.
You already have most of it.
Ironically enough, if you get 100% in the previous kingdom, and then finish this homeworld stage, you'll actually have enough to just leave. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Alright, avoid the cannonballs. Flame this guy. Right, now. Ignite the cannon.
Right.
Oh, that did actually hit that. Okay, cool. Alright, I want to be on the other side. Spyro, turn the cannon. Aim at that metal crate, because we can't break it normally.
Right.
And there we go. So there are going to be some big metal crates that you just straight up can't break. You got to find a way to break them. Some of these get quite quite devious, as it were. Also, Spyro can't swim. Don't touch water. It's bad for you.
Is that just the bane of dragons?
Water?
Kiddie pool.
I thought it was fairies.
But just like chuck a cup of water at him and boom.
I'm the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, I get it now. Yay! Right, let's come down here. Oh, a thief. He doesn't try much. Let's grab this key. Pick up that gem. There we go. Oh boy!
Well done, Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some.
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
Thank you. I will. Alright, let's glide over here. This jump is quite tight. And with that, should mercifully, there we go.
Hooray.
And then glide down here, which again you can barely make. And where's that put us? 3 out of 12 eggs, 19 out of 80 dragons. Right, since my internet connection cannot decide what it wants to do, it is legitimately jumping from the hundreds to the 10,000s. And I do not know why. So what I'll do is end this stream here today, because this is a nice point to cut it off anyway. And next Thursday, internet connection providing, clearly. Like seriously, I'm looking at it in XSplit, it's going from like 200 kilobits per second to 10,000. That's the bane of streaming. Stability. I should use my 3DS for streaming. Right. Next Thursday, we'll finish Peacekeepers and probably Magic Crafters, the second world, actually. Oh well.